Welcome to Unified Media Dropping Gems podcast. Let's get it.
Unified Media Dropping Gems podcast, season 3, episode 1 revolves around the topic of overcoming obstacles that life throws at us, featuring special guest Rich Sounds. Like and share this video to those who will find this information useful. Tune into the show once a week, every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube, where we have raw, uncut, open discussions that can range with insightful and educational information across the board. Other episodes will include past and current events, trending topics, conspiracies, personal journey, growth, and so much more. We also invite special guests like Rich Sounds to shed light on who they are and what professional industry they are in. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, email droppinggemspodcasting@gmail.com with your name, business, industry, social media info, and brief bio. Hosted by yours truly, JL The Truth and ONTL Dewan. Please support the show by subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell. I'm going to open up real quick with this 2-minute segment in regards to overcoming obstacles, and then we're going to get right into the conversation. Give me 1 second.
In the face of life's trials, it is disheartening to witness how swiftly many relinquish their aspirations at the first signs of adversity. Yet, it is precisely during these moments that we must summon our inner strength and endure with unwavering resolve. Rather than shying away, we ought to lean into the struggle, drawing support from the positive network we have built. Embrace the challenges and hardships, for it is through these tribulations that we cultivate the resilience of a hardened warrior, invincible in spirit. When the tempest of adversity gathers, we do not retreat or falter. Instead, we advance with steadfast determination, knowing the true greatness is forged in the crucible of hardship. We understand that growth and transformation spring forth from the very heart of tribulation. In these trying times, we find solace and strength with the bonds of our connections, the network of individuals who uplift, support, and inspire us. Their unwavering belief in our potential guides us forward and lights our path. United in purpose, we forge an unbreakable unity, marching together in the pursuit of excellence. Moreover, we recognize the power of discipline, the unwavering commitment to nurturing our physical and mental well-being. We willingly embrace the discomfort that accompanies pushing our limits, understanding that it is through these challenges that we transcend our current selves. With unwavering dedication, we cultivate the warrior within, unyielding in our pursuit of personal growth and self-mastery. Let us not forget that adversity is not an adversary to be feared, but a formidable teacher. It is within the crucible of hardships that our resilience is honed, our character tested, and our indomitable spirit is forged. Each trial we encounter, each struggle we overcome, strengthens our resolve and purifies our essence. Therefore, fellow warriors of life, when the path ahead grows treacherous and doubts assail us, remember to lean into the struggle. Embrace adversity, for it is through this crucible that our invincibility takes shape. We advance with unrelenting determination, undeterred by the challenges that lie before us. With each resolute step, we proclaim our indomitable spirit, our unyielding commitment to rise above all obstacles. So let us rise, for we are the warriors who refuse to be vanquished. We are Ego.
And then there's one more video, and we'll kind of resonate on that message. One more I want to show you guys. And these are successful individuals who have overcome life obstacles as well. So check this out.
After being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. He wasn't able to speak until he was almost 4 years old, and his teachers said he would never amount to much. was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't fit for television. Fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. At age 11, he was cut from his team after being diagnosed with a growth hormone deficiency, which made him smaller in stature than most kids his age. At 30 years old, he was left devastated and depressed after being unceremoniously removed from the company he started. A high school dropout whose personal struggles with drugs and poverty culminated in an unsuccessful suicide attempt. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything and that he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Rejected by Decca Recording Studios, who said, "We don't like their sound. They have no future in show business." His first book was rejected by 27 publishers. His fiancée died, failed in business, had a nervous breakdown, and was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never tried anything new.
Man.
Yes, and that's how I wanted to kind of open up the show, to kind of reflect on people that, you know, we know in the history books, even currently, because most of the time we only get to see people's success in the moment. We never really get to understand the trials and tribulations they had to face to become the star or the president, or, you know, the influencer, or the top tier expert in their field, so to speak. And just to be able to see that each of those individuals had to battle those obstacles, whether it was, you know, a personality disorder, or, you know, didn't quite have it at that moment. It just lets you know that you have to be able to persevere through those things to be able to get, you know, be successful essentially on the other side.
What's crazy is, Aki, is the emotional intelligence and the understanding of emotions that really sticks out to me through everybody that was shown, and what it takes. Because some people don't realize, like, yeah, a lot of people get told certain things, but they don't understand the emotion that they had. It's like taking someone's passion and just saying it's completely useless. And to
Right.
them, they're like, what? Like, you shouldn't feel this way about yourself and what you do, because I don't feel that way for you.
Mm,
That's heavy. You know what I mean? That emotional past, that emotional in form of emotion that is built up in a person, and a person has to endure and take. It's powerful. I could say that it's just powerful.
absolutely. Absolutely. Rich, how do you feel about it?
That was powerful. Exactly what he's saying. You know, it kind of hits on like a, you know, more like a personal level with me, especially like the things that, like, you know, kind of going through life, kind of, you know,
Mm,
going through your trials and tribulations, and kind of like figuring it out, you know, and kind of just like, you know, building, like getting like that the kind of like inner beast kind of like woken up a little bit. You know what I mean? Especially watching that video, like, you know what I mean, it gets you a little more like dialed in, like, you know. I you know, it makes me want to just get out there and just start streaming right now.
just
You know,
start
you
streaming
start
right now.
working.
And you know, I
Hey,
think
we
that's,
are streaming right now, you know,
yeah,
but
and that's what we're doing. And I think that's why it's so important to go back to those pieces to find those media clips, find those, find that information, redigest it, just to give yourself clarity again of like saying,
Mhm.
if they went through that and they were broken down and tore up and denied countless times, but then able to, to essentially reach the high level of what they wanted to
Mhm.
reach. Why can't ONTL Dewan do it? Why can't Rich Sounds do it? Why can't Stacy,
Yeah.
Riri, Snoopy
I
be able
think
to do
like
that as well?
I think like a big part too is like what resonates is like was kind of like what you're just saying, and like going being in the military. One thing that we have to go through is enduring hardships so other people don't have to. And one of the things that kind of kept me going is like when you're getting on those 50K ruck marches, and you got your feet all torn up, you like you want to give up. Usually, like your body, your brain's telling you to quit, but like you got to be stronger and more powerful than your brain. You know what I mean? Your brain's just like a piece. It doesn't control you. You're supposed to be able to control it as its
Mm.
own. And one thing I noticed is when we were doing those 50K ruck marches, when we're running those 2 5 miles, and feel like we're about to give up, you look left and you see your battle buddy's right there going through the same exact thing. Matter of fact, there's 20 other guys right next to him that are doing the same exact thing. And you realize that like you just when you got bad, somebody right there who's going through it too. Some people
Yeah.
are going through it worse. And
Yeah.
I feel like that alone drove me, to the point where like, I can't give up, not just for myself, but for other people that are relying on me, especially people, when it came down to combat. Sometimes like, I would fall back just so I could get down to the level where people were about to give up. And I would like fall back in line and push some of those people to move forward and get them, more in the front. And it actually, a lot of people, at first, they're not too accepting, you know what I mean? A lot of people, they want to neglect and they want to like, they want to decline a lot of that help. Like, nah, like, get out of here. But once they actually accept, your help,
That's
or,
pride. That's ego.
that, and once the ego dies, I think that's when
Mhm.
people start to thrive,
I think people
Leading
need to
me.
also understand that it's okay to get help, to receive
Mm-hmm.
help.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's okay to also search for it in the right
Yep.
direction. If you reach out to the right
Of course.
contact, I'll give you an example. In my personal life, I was battling the fact that I felt like I was back to doing everything alone creatively. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Whether it was on the music side, whether it was on the film side, I just felt alone. And yes, we have social media. Yes, we could probably reach out to certain people,
Mm-hmm.
but my pride and my ego was like, oh, if I reach out to this individual, they're not going to want to work with me for whatever reason, whether if it was a past event, whether it's my mind telling me that now, but that isn't the truth. So I ended up picking up the phone and reaching out to an old buddy, and it so happened that he was in the same space as me. So we actually utilized that to our advantage and was like, all right, let's connect. Even if we were tired and didn't want to go, let's connect,
Mm-hmm.
let's sit down, let's work on something, and let's just shoot and get back into the momentum of things. And that's exactly what happened. Once you get back into the momentum of things, I think that fire is relit, and then you just start pushing yourself again.
And some people, it's
Yep.
not an ego either. It's like, but like sometimes it's like a lot of people go through life and like they don't have somebody to ask for help. You know what I mean? Nobody was ever there to really kind of give them help. And I think like
Yeah.
a big part of it is not exactly declining your help, but it's like they haven't been able to rely on anybody. Nobody has been, worth it enough to rely on, where they're just like, why would I start now? And I think sometimes it's a bit between ego and then there's a bit of trust, and I think like
That's
if
a
you
good
can
one.
see eye to eye with somebody, and you can kind of get level with them, I think then, it's that's where it's kind of like it's kind of like like a coin toss. You got to kind of figure out where people are kind of standing when it comes to like, if they do need help or they just don't know that they like people are
Snoopy
actually
says it,
willing to
Snoopy
help.
says it's fear.
Yep.
Do you
Yep.
guys ever
Always.
face a level of fear? Is it fear of failing, fear of not reaching success, fear of certain expectations? What let me start with Aki. What do you
Mm-hmm.
is there a thing that you may have faced past or present where you felt fear of something, and and in what relation?
Um, there's many things, and I more. It was fear, but it was more fear of going through the process. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what is to come and afraid of just facing it versus, I'm creating the worst scenario possible because of that. You know what I mean? Being in that state of mind of, I know I got to go through some stuff, but what if it goes like this? What, you know what I'm saying? Not being able to understand emotionally how I was going to be able to get through it. And there's been times where, when it comes down to just being financial in the financial statement, man, like scared to take a sacrifice because of what it could possibly interrupt what I have now, instead of looking at what can happen if I push through it, and what would be the thing first, like taking on different positions, creating
Right,
myself, stepping down just to climb right back up. You know what I mean?
right,
That was
right.
in that sense of fear was just not fully committing to what it was considered as a sacrifice, and not understanding, the totality of something, just having a bit of information or a bit of understanding about it, and scared to take on, or having the fear of, man, if I do this, shit gonna hit the fan right now, and right now I don't want to deal with that right now. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't what I want, I can't take it. And that right there kind of has me where now I spoke with my dad, and it made me just really realize, like, at the end of the day, sacrifice is needed, and no matter what it is, it's just depending on, when you take the sacrifice, what are you willing to do to push beyond what you're fearing of what's going to happen, because you don't know necessarily what's going to happen. You think you have an idea. Yes, it's a possibility, but is it always going to be in the way you think it is? It could be in a totally different mind, a totally different way. And this was something that I had pretty much went through last year, as understanding what a real sacrifice is, to now bringing it this year. I'm kind of like forced, in a sense, to kind of have to go through the sacrifice now. You know what I mean? Like, dealing with my incident that I have, I broke my leg, just playing with the children, and not thinking I would ever do anything like that. I ain't never broke a leg, a bone, an ankle bone, anything like that. I've always rolled my ankle, but to be able to now, where I'm bed rested, I can't get out that much. I have to get up and walk. I'm gonna have to learn to re-walk again. Like, that right there was my ultimate fear at the end of the day when this first thing happened. Like, damn, my life has changed for me, but now it's like, how do I deal with this? How do I If this would have happened to me a few years ago, bro, I probably wouldn't have been mentally, it wouldn't have been able to, like, accept.
You wouldn't be mentally prepared.
Nah. And going through this now, I have fully accepted the challenge of having to learn how to deal with the pain, the agony, the ability to not be able to walk, have no control over that, have to sit down and heal. I like literally taking the time to just sit down and have time to myself and really focus on what is more important, what is necessary, and then to have different things that are everybody around me that's affected by me being down. Now looking at not only me going through the pain, but them going through the suffering of watching me go through what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different type of mentality to accept, and a challenge to take on. But the strength I know that coming from it, and the endurance I know I'm gaining from it, is where I have found great solitude and understanding, and more, and I feel like I'm more at a point in my life where now I don't have to fear anything.
More of acceptance.
Yes,
Of acceptance.
I don't have to be, whatever's come is going to get handled no matter what.
No
You know what I'm
matter
saying? No
what.
matter how you look at it, is going something's going to give. And as long as you don't give up and stay consistent with it, it's, you know what I'm saying, it's something that I really have taken hold of and grasped. Like, I'll have to be down, not working, when I'm the only person who's working in the house, you know what I mean? So the only source of
Right.
income, to being going down to not having it, and you know, being the person that keeps things in orders to be able to not, I can't do nothing in my sense, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's the same way I would do if I did have that ability. Like it's not fun, you know what I'm saying? And just for
Right.
the viewing audience, you know, this is not graphical, but you know, some may not want to see, but I have to show because this is the process. This is what I'm going through right now. Being bed rested like this, man.
Look.
Nobody should be able to have to deal with this.
So you have a cast on currently with
No cast,
some,
Docky. That is not a cast.
that's not a cast. So what can you
That is
explain
not a
exactly
cast.
what we're looking at right now?
That
What is
is
that
an
that's holding your leg?
external, yeah,
Hmm.
that is an external fixator, which rods are sticking out and holding my
Yeesh.
bones and leg in place so that
Wow.
it does not move. So those things are coming up out of my skin. You get what
Wow.
I mean? And in my
Wow.
foot and in my leg to hold it together. So therefore my bones can mend back together because
Wow.
the break that I've endured was right above the ankle joint where the two bones, your tibia and fibia bone, connect
Ooh.
to your ankle joint and give you that movement. Those two bones broke. So it's basically like my foot and my leg
Damn.
separated.
Oh wow, Aki.
Damn.
Yes.
That's
It looked
crazy.
a little
I
different
can
than when
love
I saw it. It looks a little
Right. I
know
different
think
it.
now,
what's
bro.
crazy is that he sent me the photo and it still didn't dawn on me how serious the injury was until
No,
he just broke it down in
the
detail, which is
injury
crazy.
is, I had to look at it. Okay, so I mean, I don't have the images, but being in the hospital, looking at the X-rays, looking at the CT scan, and then explain the doctor explaining to me, he's like, this is one of those breaks and fractured moments that, you know, not a lot of people take and not a lot of people get, but those who do, this is a life-changing moment because it's different now. Like I said, I have to learn how to walk again. I have to learn how to apply pressure on it, and this I could have lost my whole foot. You know what I'm saying? With the
Mm.
type of broke it was, my bone almost sticking out of my skin, taking on a compound fracture. So this is the reason why all of these is needed, but this is needed and necessary for it to properly heal and be realigned. They had to adjust my foot so therefore it can the bones wouldn't grow back in the wrong direction. And I'll have a crazy limp when I walk.
Or your foot probably being at a certain angle or something like
Angle.
that. It was
Right,
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 right.
right. So, you know, the like it was saying in the video, man, the ability to sit there and go through that, you have to take on that challenge. I have to
Mhm.
accept that, yo, this is my life right now. Like this is what I have to go through. You know what I mean? This is, and I'm down for about two months going through this.
I feel like it's a benefit to increasing your mental fortitude. Like it's about to make you mentally stronger because now you're essentially sitting with yourself in your thoughts more so because now you're immobilized. You're not able to, things are not moving at the pace that you're usually used to, right? Getting up, taking care of the family, running over here, going to the job, writing down something for the podcast, working on something for the music, making a beat, reading you know what I'm saying, going down the
All
rabbit
of
hole,
those
whatever it
things.
is, you're not,
All of those things.
You better be
you know what
cooking
I'm
up some
saying?
beats,
So
bro.
now
That's
you're
all I'm
constantly
saying.
in your mind. Now, with you being constantly in your mind, for everybody that's tuned in, that it's almost like you're now in a moment of solace where it's like it's just you and your thoughts. What are you currently thinking about?
Um,
Idle time, Stacy
Mhm.
said.
in that idle time, which is good because it's crazy because people always think of idle time as bad, but realistically, the idle time is really good because you're not idle in as far as on stopping and not having anything, but more so like how you sit at a red light. Your vehicle is in an idle mode; it's waiting until it's time to go again.
Mm,
And what I'm
Mm.
able to do is, you know, really sit here and look at, oh, I got physical therapy, how to get my legs strong again. What can I do even with this? How can I still dictate things? How can I still
mm.
operate things? How can I still be able to, you know, have the mindset? It allows me to read more right now. Like I do a lot more reading now. You know what I'm saying? I can catch up on different things, learn different things, watch shows, play video games, connect with my family, be present with my family more. You know what I'm saying? Taking rather than being out gone all the time. Now I get to be at home. I get to help the children out a little bit more when it comes down to schoolwork. I
Mhm.
get to be present, even though I was doing those things while I was working and doing all those things. But it's now I appreciate those little moments now. You know what I'm saying? Even more.
Yeah.
It just makes me
Yeah.
appreciate it more. Like don't take it for granted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't get
Yeah.
too egotistical with it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, because at the blink of an eye, it can be gone just like that. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And, you know what I'm saying? And for them to have to see me going through it, in my mind, I'm like, what are they thinking about? Like, how do they see me when I do this? How are they viewing me as being weak, or do they see how strong I am as I see myself? And you know what I mean? Like how my family looks at it, and then every day feeling the aching, feeling the pain, having to readjust my leg every moment because it needs circulation correctly, keeping it elevated up, so therefore the swelling goes down. Like there's so many different things that go through my brain, but it allows me to think and slow my thought process down and kind of just focus on what is needed and trying to, and more so to take care of business right away. You know what I mean? Like to
Right.
not wait on it and things like that. It's just like I've accepted it. I understand that this is what life is for me, but I'm gonna get through it. You know what I'm saying? And I have people counting on me to keep pushing through. And the moment they see me get through it and it's all done and over with, you know what I'm saying? The different level of respect I have
Well, it's
for
already
my
happening
family.
to me right now, Aki. When the last week when I reached out to you and I was telling you, I'm ready to repurpose content. I'm ready to redirect the traffic from short clips here to the long form content for people to start digesting some good information. The minute you told me, you were like, yo, Ak, I'm ready to hit the episode 1 for season 3. And I was just like, I wasn't even ready for you. Like I wasn't even. I was thinking like another 2-3 weeks or something like
Yeah.
that. When you know what I mean? Like you're gonna take your sweet time with it so you can enjoy, what you got going on in your personal life. And when you told me, you was like, nah, I'm gonna sit up. I'm gonna be on the couch. It's not gonna be the same setting in the same field, but I'm gonna be there because this is what we said we were gonna work on. So we're gonna stick to it. And that level of respect for you, Ak, I was just like, it pushed me today that I woke up this morning, right? And
Mhm.
my fitness trainer, I was 2 workouts behind on my
Mhm.
fitness app. And just thinking
Mhm.
about everything, Rich Sounds, you, just how everybody's just been working to that beat. I was like, yo, if these guys can do it, I need to get up. I need to knock out my 45-minute cardio. After I knocked out my 45-minute cardio, I ran in here, I did my workout. Then I had to go meet my film buddy, for 2 hours to write a whole script. We wrote out a whole script. We got props, detailed it. And then I came back from the script writing, came here, putting together the artwork, setting up the podcast. I was like, yo, the level of intensity that these 2 brothers have to want to succeed, I have to make sure that I keep that same energy up so that way it stays in this revolving door, which is, you guys are absolutely amazing.
Appreciate that. I
And
can,
the
I mean,
same
I
thing
can
with
think we
and the
all
same thing with
draw.
Soul
Likewise.
Fam. The same thing with Soul Fam.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to
I
cut you
think
off,
we
Mike,
all I
but
think we all feed and
you
and
know,
and and thrive off of that because at the end of the day we all can look at each other. We all know what some of the things that we go through personally in life, but we all understand that we're at that level and stage and just mentality of, there's people out here doing worse or feel like they're worse than our situation, and if they can push through and thrive, like why
mm,
can't I? You know what I'm saying? Like you said
right.
earlier, Rich, look, running in the military, doing
Mhm.
their thing, looking left, looking to your left, looking to your right, and seeing 10, 15 other
Mhm.
people going through the same thing you're going through. It's like, hey, you're not alone in this. You may not feel the way I feel, but you have some feeling up there and you're not alone with this. So, it's just a little bit more to go. And at the end of the day, that's all that's really needed, man, is your ability, your willpower, man, having a real good
Mhm.
power of will to know that something can happen, man. I look the last week, man, it was so funny because I had a doctor's appointment and my wife, she stepped out and she had to step out real quick and my sons was in the room resting and so it's just me and them. They woke up before she was able to get back. So I had to figure out how to get in there and care and cater to them, and she seen me on the camera and she just couldn't believe like how I did it. Like, and it was just like
Mhm.
I had to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like these are my sons, these are my children. I have to figure out something, and then my ability to still be able to put on my clothes and the way I did, like I figured some shit out, bro. Because it's really not hard. But what this teaches you is to slow your mind down from trying to do so many things and focus on the next step. You just take that one step. What's that one step? You know what I'm saying? And when you take that one step, then you'll see that your next step is, oh, okay, I could take the next step now. Oh, now I could take the next step. And now I could take the next step. Because that's at the end of the day, the more steps you take, the further the distance you can go. You know what I'm saying? It's not about how fast you take the steps, it's just about taking the step. And when you're
Right.
able to just one foot in front of the other, man, you look back and the
Eventually, you
distance you
get
have
to your
traveled.
destination. Eventually, you
and
get
you
to your
know,
destination. Yeah.
I think like I think like one of the things too, like I was gonna say that earlier too, is like that because like everybody's in such a constant state of motion, moving, gotta go, gotta do this, gotta do that. Just like you were talking about earlier, JR. And like the one of the things is like it's kind of like a blessing in disguise, the one like just like being able because you're not so moving around, not such in a rush anymore. It's like you can almost slow your brain down a little bit and kind of like really just take in things at your own pace. And I think that's in a way it's kind of like a blessing in disguise. It's a
Oh yeah.
hard way to get that blessing, but I mean, with risk comes reward, I guess.
Right.
Hey,
But
I'll tell you, look, I that's why I
mhm,
accepted it because it's just like, you know, again, I have to learn how to put weight on this foot again, learn how to walk again, bro. Do you know, like some people don't
mhm,
understand that. Some people can't walk anymore. They get into an accident and they cannot walk anymore. But for me, I
oh
have
yeah,
the ability to be able to start over on how to walk again and taking that step. And that's how I seen it as the blessing. It's like this is my ability to put one foot forth in front of the other. Like if I can live through this and get through this, there's nothing else that I can't get through, man. I don't care what it
that's
is. There's
exactly
nothing
it.
else I can't get through because learning how to walk again is one of the most
Mhm,
difficult things that your mind has to deal with, but also your body
mhm,
has to endure. You know what I mean? I have to be able to still have strength in this leg to hold my weight up. You know what I'm saying? To where
mhm,
now I can get up and move. And the more and more I can do, the more and more I do it, the better it'll get. And just really thinking about that, man, is what had me is what's pushing me is like, damn, I gotta learn to
mhm,
walk again. I gotta learn to take a step at a time, which is now just on a spiritual level, it allows me to see like, you know what? Whatever I put my mind to, I can.
mhm,
And it don't matter what's gonna be coming in front of me. I can sidestep, I can step back,
mhm,
I can step forward. You get what I mean? Like those options right there is what I like to call a king's move because the king can only move one space at a time on the board, but eventually that king can make it across that board.
Mm.
mhm.
Mm.
Everybody else around him has the ability to stretch all the way across the board, not just one, except for the pawns. The pawns you can go at least two, but the king has the ability to move in all directions of the board at one square at a time. And
Mm.
that's what a true king is, being able
Yeah,
to have your position and being able to move in any direction you need in order to get from being checkmated. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So that's
of
that's
course.
that's my that's my mentality when it comes down to this.
And like,
What I love about it is, and I could take one simple lesson from it, is that no matter what age you are, your body can adjust, your mind can adjust, your spirit can adjust to simply starting over. That you can
of
start
course.
over, that it's okay, that you can start over, and through starting over, you can learn something new from your past failures.
Yeah.
You know what
Oh
I
I
mean?
can
man,
get on.
starting over.
Ooh, I can
Starting
get
over.
on the same level with you too, like the one, like because like with my father right now, like being paralyzed and learning how to walk again, learning how to use his arms again, learning how to go to the bathroom, like just learning how to like physically go to the bathroom, like just it's I can totally sympathize with you. And the one thing that really stuck out to me that I was told was that when something like this happens, right, your body wants to do it. Your brain's going to tell you, I can't do it, but your heart's the one that's actually going to be the one to get you there. And it's constantly a battle that I deal with every day
Stop.
with my father. And it really is exactly that because like no matter what, like your body's only going to be so physical. You know what I mean? It's only going to be as physical as it possibly can be. But like, it's a struggle, like especially like learning how to walk and learn, like not knowing if you're going to come out of this 100%. You know what I mean? Are you going to come out like what's it like? How far is it actually going to be able to, to fix itself? It can like your body will only do so much as to what it's physically capable, but in the end, like, I just sympathize a lot, I don't want to get too far into that,
No, I got you.
but
I got you.
yeah, man, it's a tough thing, and I totally feel your pain.
Different.
And it's scary, what I mean? Like when they talk about that level of fear, it's because it's like the fear of like, it's not fear of doubt, it's a fear of the unknowing, not knowing what's coming ahead. You know what I mean? What kind of pain what is it really going to take? What kind of like real hardship you have to go through just to like actually get to that point, to be back to 100%. That's the scary part, and not knowing,
That's the scariest thing.
I
because,
think
like,
what's important is the fact that you're helping your father. Is that you're helping your
that
father.
right there. That right there.
I mean, Aki's also getting support as well. He's not going through the process alone. And I think that's important, that when people face those things that occur in their life that are unexpected, if you at least have one support system there that's going to push you to get you back into tip-top shape and back to who you was, if not better. I think that's important, that, you're there for your father. And ONTL, he has his wife and his brother and his, his parents and stuff like that.
And it's important that you're around people that believe in the success of it more than you're going to believe in it yourself. That's one of the things, because you're going to feel way more doubt. And when you got somebody else right there, no, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. You need someone else that's actually going to be able to believe that more than you, because there's going to be times when you're going to feel doubt, when you're going to feel failure. And like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can make it. And like, when someone else is there that believes in your vision more than you.
When this hurts, when the pain and the like the tension of it, the blood rushing through it, when I'm in pain and agony dealing with this, that's when I'm at the worst, where I want to give up, cut this shit off. I'm done with this. I don't want this no more. Like I'm at that mind, and because I'm in pain. You know what I mean? I'm suffering right now with it, but at the same time, it's just like, I can do that. I take breaths, and I just be like, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna get through this. I get my meds. I take it. The pain subsides. I do what I need to do to push through, and it literally, look at it and be like, all right, now I'm comfortable. Now it's okay. Like it's a roller coaster ride. Like going through it and feeling it. Like I try to really accept it. Like, damn, this shit hurts. I don't wish this on any of my worst enemies. I don't wish this on no one. I don't wish this for for somebody to have to deal with this, because this is not something that you can really deal with. Like, some people would have mentally already killed themselves because of what they have to deal with and endure. And like I was stating earlier, it's the fear of knowing what is to come, but not knowing how it's going to happen. And when you don't know how it's going to happen, you're more in fear of what is going to happen versus what will happen. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm more looking at it like. I feel all of this pain, but at the end of the day, every day it's getting better and better and better. And I'm feeling more and more pain every day, because as the swelling subsides in my foot, the more I can feel my bones, the more I can feel my leg. Looking at my leg becomes skinny, you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't have the ability to move, losing muscle mass in that time, you know what I'm saying? Looking at it like, damn, it's this is real. I literally go, this is just temporary. This is for this moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is for this day. And then when I lay down and wake back up, man, you know what I'm saying, see that it's still here, it's like, oh, yo, this is not a dream. So it just helps me go, I gotta keep going. And every day I'm blessed to say I wake up and I'm able to really take on and handle it, man. And that's why, like I told you, Aki, like, yeah, no, I'm gonna have to do it. I gotta do it, because at the end of the day, I don't want it to stop me from anything, because I'm physically can't do what I used to do, doesn't mean mentally I can't do what I need to do. You know
do you find this helps? Do you find like this conversation must like help you as far as like in this situation too? I can only imagine. I mean, it's nice that I be able to actually talk about it, because like a lot of people, like, you know what I mean, you're, especially when you're stuck in a situation, you're stuck at home, there's not everybody around, we can really just kind of chop it up. So like, I'm kind of glad that you got this platform to kind of put that out there.
This platform is my ability to
it's therapeutic.
therapeutic. It's
It's
very
therapeutic.
therapeutic, just like my music, man. It's like when I have the ability to, speak about myself, what I'm facing, what I'm going through, and also, what I see, what I've learned, what I feel, and those like things like that. It keeps me going because
Of
now
course.
it's like I've never been that type of person that expressed myself or shared my feelings a lot. I was always the person everybody come and give me what they're feeling, and I give what I can see for them. You know what I'm saying?
Of
I'm
course.
when now that I have the ability to speak and talk and have something to say, man, it brings me joy and it pushes me even more to
Hmm.
just keep going. And then on this platform, this is what I live for. You know what I mean?
Of
This is
course.
why I'm here. I know my purpose is for me to be this because I had this one lady tell me one day when I was on a live, and I just rapped, I freestyled a song on live. I mean, one of my verses on live, and this was for a music review place that was on Instagram, and people were tuned in. People I had no idea who they were, and it was a
Mm.
nice, pretty audience. But I had a few people in there tell me, hey, especially this one lady, I'll never forget. She said, "Looking in your eyes, you got a story to tell. Please keep going."
Mm.
Like she told me that and I've never met this lady ever. Like I said, this is an
Hmm.
exchange over the social media, Instagram. You know what I mean? And looking in your eyes, I see you have a story to tell. So please keep going. You know what I mean? And I was just like, and from that, I remembered that, and it stuck with me, resonated because I do have one, and that's what kind of got me out of that motion of like taking on, listening to other people's stuff, but more so like, now what can I share about me? How can I be? How can I be what people see in me that I don't sometimes see in myself? And what I've noticed is that a lot of people see things in me that I don't pay attention to because it's me. I'm not paying
Right.
attention to
Hmm.
myself like that. I'm paying
Right.
attention to what's around me. But now that I have the ability to stop and pay attention to me, now I get to see the beauty that I have within inside of me and what's
Hmm.
on me and see what other people see. And that excites me more now is because like, damn, y'all can see that. Like you know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
almost like a moment of being exposed. You know what I'm saying? Being
Hmm.
exposed and but accepting what everybody else sees and like, damn, I can see why you see that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can understand that. And because people do give me a look that I don't I'd be like, why do people look at me like that? Like, why do people always want to stare at me? Why do they want to be around me? Why is it like that? And this is not no
Hmm.
narcissistic thing, but this is just my experience and throughout my life. I notice these things now that people just wants my energy and to be around me because I have the thing that they look for. I have that heart, that stride, that mental fortitude to push through. I have the words, the knowledge, the ability to, push that through. And then my story of me and what I've been through in life is what they feel comfortable. It's just like some people probably can be going through worse than me, but they feel my mine's is worse than theirs. And
But
I and
we
and
have
that's
to be careful with that, Aki, because there was a conversation that I had with the Soul Fam community in our high level conversations. And I want to shout out Zarina real quick for this. Zarina mentioned that people will be vampires to your good energy, and subconsciously
Yeah.
and unconsciously they will drain you of your good energy because of the type of spirit that you have. You know what I mean? So we have to have the awareness to protect that energy, that when we're around certain people, we have to pick it up right away, like, oh, that person's not really good for us. They're actually sucking up my energy right now. And you have to start questioning why you fit, why your energy is changing, why your feelings are changing in a particular moment, and realize, oh wait, that's not really me.
that
That's not how I
that
really
right
operate.
there
That's
is
not how I really
that's
respond.
how.
You know?
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's something that I've learned too, just because I asked myself those questions, why do people want to do that? And then when I realized I see what they see, now I understand. It's like, of course you would want this. You know what I mean? Like, of course you would want to be this, but how much of it do I allow to let you take advantage of, or how much of it do I share and give
Right,
off, or how much of it do I have to protect and keep and hold on to? You know
right,
what I mean?
right,
So
right. You pick and
with
choose.
yeah, you get to pick
Yeah.
and choose. And the good thing about me is that, I my mind and my body actually has been able to do that without me
Hmm.
knowing. Like subconsciously, it's done that, and I think that's why I'm the way I am and why people would want that, because I'm not knowing that it's doing that. It's just I make a move, I say something or do something in the moment, and it happens that way. You know what I mean? Because there was a moment in time. I think I told you this, and I explained this too on the previous seasons before, where I had to go to a mental health place because I went through a great deal of depression. I was very depressed, so I almost lost myself, and my family was very scared. You know, and that's what happened was I allowed too many people to absorb my energy from me. I didn't have enough for myself. You know what I mean? But ever since then, that's how I've been able to really put people where they go and not mind it. Like I set that boundary and let it be
Right.
at that boundary, and I dismiss myself from anything that I feel is not ready for me at the time, or I'm not ready for it. I dismiss myself from it. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
And so even with this moment now, it really shows. Like there's people who when I first posted this thing on social media, man, it was like almost I almost had 500 views and looking at it, but the real ones, the people who know me and really wanted to pray for me and give support, they really DM me and called me, man. Like they
Right.
video chatted me, you know what I'm saying? Like they really prayed for me and prayed for that. You know, you get some people who say these things, but there were people who done it. Like they wanted to do
Right.
that, you
Right.
know what I mean? And really
There's a difference
give the
between
support and
saying and
love.
putting more and putting some action and love behind it.
Right. So
I
you
think we
know what
can
I'm
all
saying?
agree on that.
Yeah.
Hey man, but it is a difference,
Facts.
and that's what kind of that's why I wanted to get back to our show, because I
Mhm.
know my story and what happened to me. Yes, we all going through some stuff, but like none of y'all know what this feels like. You get what I
Right.
mean? And for those
Mhm.
Right.
who have ever had this, they truly understand that. Like when you physically are incapable of moving at the same beat you are used to moving, you find other ways to get yourself moving, motivated, and pushing and to
Mm.
persevere through, because you're the only one. And then it helps when you have people around you to continue to help you
Mhm.
see what you are already looking at, who can see the
Yep.
vision and keep continuously pushing you to go. No, you got this, you got this. That's what me and my wife say every day. Like she hears me in here, she be like, you okay, you okay? And I be like, yeah,
Ah,
I'm going through
Just
it,
give it,
but she be
just
right.
like,
give it
it's
that
okay.
deep breath. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
Hey,
mean?
and
Yeah.
but it helps, man. It helps, man. You know what I'm saying? My children,
Definitely.
they come by,
Yeah.
they blow kisses at it, they rub it, they ask questions about it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
everybody sees me going through it. They know when I'm in pain. Damn near almost killed myself. Damn near trying to, deal with my son and stuff like that. So everybody sees me, but they see how I'm still going.
Mhm.
Like I'm still here. I'm still able to do things. I'm still able to move. You know what I mean? Like it helps them, like you can't give up, like it pushes them, and even though they
Mhm.
may not fully understand right now at this stage this story that I have, and especially when they get older to where they're actually able to understand, they
Right.
definitely will be, you know what I'm saying, I'll be able to push it, and they'll remember I went through this, and they'll know, like, you know what, my dad, this dude was he did this happen to him and he still was able to come back and do these things. Let me tell you who, you know what I'm saying, like it'll give them that ability to push themselves and stuff
To
like
push
that. Like I've
themselves
always
whenever
said,
they face adversity.
I
I've
man, when you
always
broke
said
your
I want to
leg, I
be
thought
the
it was
example.
small. I thought it was like a little like leg break, and then like me and Octopus was on like on a video call for like what, probably like an hour and a half, man. And like yo, like he shows me his leg, and I just see this like pins everywhere. It just look like somebody just stuck a bunch
Crazy.
of forks in his leg, and I was like,
Crazy.
yo, yeah, I was like, is that in there? Like I was, I didn't realize how serious it
It's
was.
look,
Yeah,
man,
it's
I got
Man,
look this one. Look, this one right here. I'll show you right now. This one right here is
yeah.
going into my foot and coming out of my foot.
so that's
Oh
a
man.
rod.
Yeah, that's the rod, man. These are the rods
Okay,
in here. This one's just in there
damn.
sticking out, and these two are in there sticking out. But these two are mainly to hold these things together and hold it stiff. This pin right here is where the incident occurred at, and all in this area is where it was broke at. So this is my foot, this is my leg right here, and then this is the area where they're doing the fixing. But this
My
has
man
to be
crashed
put
the
in here under
Lexus.
my hips.
He
It's crazy,
definitely
man.
did.
Damn,
Definitely
man. You
did.
crashed the Lexus, bro.
The
Yeah,
Lexus.
yeah.
I wanna,
You
I
know what I
wanna,
mean?
I want to get into these comments real quick to kind of engage with
Yeah.
some of the people that are
Yeah,
tuned
let's
in.
go.
Snoopy says right now that 14 years ago, and look at me now. She's saying that she has more control over her emotions. She's learned to pick her battles and she's learned how to let go. They also saying that TikTok has kind of saved their life. Um, I
Right.
guess it's more so. And then Stacy says, trauma after trauma. She had a death of her son, her brother, and so much in 1 year. So these are things that I relatively would not know because not everybody gets to the point of sharing these particular stories. But being able to hear, those traumatic events from Stacy, being able to hear Snoopy overcoming her adversities and changing the way she receives and deals with certain battles that she's facing. Do you think it's a level of experience that we learn these lessons and grow from if we choose to? Because those are choices. Like I know people who constantly live the way they live and they never grow from it because they don't choose to. So I want to, what I'm trying to get to is that people make a choice to want to grow. People
Yeah.
make a choice to want to
I
grow
think
ultimately.
I think like it's kind of like, it's kind of relate towards that is that when my sister passed away when I was 15 years old, I was straight F's, getting suspended, getting kicked out of schools all the time.
Mhm.
Week before my 8th grade graduation, my sister ended up passing away. And it was my graduation. My grandmother's crying at the graduation. She gives me a gold necklace, like Italian, link necklace, and she says my sister Sarah gave it to me, and she was so happy, but she wasn't there to give it to me that day. I think it kind of like it depends on how you can take like certain hardships or like certain tragedies like that, and some people can take it and they can fuel and it can put them further in and they can let it eat them and they can absorb all of that pain and let it become of them. And then for me, what ended up happening was that my sister was so proud. She was like, so excited for me to graduate. You know what I mean? Especially as how troubled and straight F's. I was even shocked that I even really, graduated. Well, that day I decided to make, like an oath to myself, pact to myself that, I'm going to start doing, decent. Next thing you know, next year, 9th grade, I went from straight F's to straight A's, high honors rolls, got creative writers awards and all other types of things in school. And I think like, I think it depends on how people perceive it and how, like, like some people, it might not even affect them. And I
Right.
mean, I think like, I think it does. I think they just don't let it kind of reach out to the surface. And usually it's those people that are burying it deep down, which come into
Yeah.
a situation like Ox, where he like, he might have wanted to kill himself or something like that, and it could have been anything, anything of that kind of sort. And I think it's just more or less how they interpret it and like
Right.
how they
Right.
because I mean you could take it in so many different ways. I just decided to devote everything I did in my life to try to do better and try to just like she believed in me for this, believed in me for that. She was more like a second mother to me than growing up as a child. And so I think it just depends on how people want to kind of take it and then
Kind of
you know
receive it
kind of
and respond to it. Yeah.
exactly.
No,
It's a
I'm not.
reaction. Oh, muted.
Still muted, Aki, for some reason.
Your mic's off mute. I mean on mute.
Audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Okay, so I can agree with that because I felt for my mother, man. My mother, it was since
Mhm.
2013, bro. We have lost a family member every 2 years, and I'm looking at
Mhm.
my mom lose her brother, her siblings, lose her cousin, lose her own mother. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
Lose a friend.
Mhm.
Like every 2 years, it was, and it seemed like the worst thing
Mhm.
on the planet. It just
Oh
seemed
my
like it was
God.
never gonna end, bro. And I'm sitting here looking at my mom, and we all, even her, she's questioning like, why is she the one having to deal with this? Why is she going through this? Like, why are we having to lose this many people within the back to back so many years? It's like it was 2013, 2015, 2017, 2019, 2020.
Mhm.
2021, bro. Like it was every 2 years we was losing a family member. You know what I'm saying? And it was somebody, my mom, it was my, like I said, either my mom's sibling, and her cousin, and my grandmother. You know what I mean? And it just it made us all go. You know, they looked at me like I never really shed a lot of tears and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it was because I was dealing with it, but I was suppressing it just to make sure that my mom can, you know what I'm saying, to be there for her need, because
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to not have a sibling. I don't know what it's like to lose a parent. I don't know any of those things because I have mine. You get what I mean? So to try to
Okay.
be there for her, to make sure that, she's okay. And, to see her, how strong she went through it, how tough she's taking it, the days that she was when she couldn't handle it, when it was very depressing for her, but to be there and stuff like that, it was definitely a different experience, but it allowed me to emotionally open up and just accept it too. Like, you know what, these things have happened. It's okay to grieve about it. It's okay to be, saying, to go through these things. This is life. It happens, but let me be, saying, let me be sad for it. Let me cry for that,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, it'll be all done. And the one that really hurt me the most was her mother. When her mother passed, because I always said when I was a kid, like, my grandmother, I loved her so much, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that she's not here to see my children, it's saying, it hurts a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But then what's funny is my children are born one day after her birthday, one day before her
Mm,
birthday,
that's
in the
mm.
crazy.
same month, bro. She was born December 28th.
That's
And my
crazy.
children's birthday are December 27th, bro. Both of my sons. And they're
Wow.
born 1 year apart from each
You got
other. So
twins?
so I'm yeah, no, they're not twins,
No,
but
no,
they're
not
twins. Yeah,
twins.
they're birthday twins, but they're 1 year apart from each other, just
Yo,
born on the
what?
same day.
What?
So
What?
it's yeah, it's pretty crazy. But like you said, it's how you perceive it. You know what I'm saying? How you take it and how you look at it. You know what I mean? It's either you're going to grow from it, or you're going to let it control you and crush you. And when you choose to not let it crush you, but to accept it for what it is, feel it, understand that feeling, and then now what you can do from it and move forward on, not forgetting it, but more understanding it, then it allows you to, like you said, to devote yourself or devote your heart to do something about it, to become better, to make it, what I'm saying, where now you have a good story to tell, or you can help someone else because they may be going through the same thing. So, thank y'all for sharing that. What's her, Snoopy, and then what was the
And
other girl's name?
Stacy.
Stacy.
Stacy. Stacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for
Yeah.
sharing that, because yeah, it is tough, but getting through it, I'm glad to hear that, what I'm saying, it helps you, and whatever you did to get through it and to become where you are now, what I'm saying, that's the ultimate blessing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
beauty, and we got
I
people
think
here that understand.
for me, when I lost, my wife lost someone dear to her, which was someone dear to me as well. Our relationship was different, and this happened about 2 years ago, a couple days before my birthday. And what I realized, when you lose someone you love, you don't know how to respond to it in the moment. There's
Of
no
course.
pamphlet for it, for losing a loved one. There's no way to truly recover. Even with time, there's
Hmm.
moments, there's smells, there's things that transpire in your life that constantly put you in remembrance of this particular individual. But one of the things that I've learned to cope with is the fact that there was times where she would want to see me continue to persevere even when I was struggling with things. When she was here alive, she would be the
Hmm.
one to motivate me and inspire me and be like, yo, you're super talented, keep going. We would have our own little dialogue, our own little, the way we used to talk to each other, to push each other. And those are the things that keep me going today. That whenever I'm doing something and something reminds me of her, I think of those great moments. I don't
Of
reflect
course.
on the pain no more. I reflect on the moments that were once good, and the things that we enjoyed about each other,
Hmm.
and just those things. And you know, today I light candles for her. I do spiritual cleansing around my house. I speak to her, at moments before going to bed, the same way we speak to Yahweh. um because as a spiritual individual, I do believe there's another side, and there's ways of somehow there there is a language buried between this dimension and the other dimension, because there's
For
moments where
sure.
I feel like she's around me sometimes. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Even if it's like a slight of reflection of just like her image passing by me. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's, you know, a strong spiritual connection to the other side. I don't quite understand it, but whenever I feel her around me, it gives me you know, it puts me at peace almost. You know what I'm saying? And I utilize that. I hold on to that whenever there's moments of destruction or moments that I'm in my mind. You know, I think about her, and I think about, yo, she's telling me not to give up. You know what I mean? And I hold on to those things because she would want to see me persevere through it all and never stop, even when things seem difficult, seem hard. And me truly, it hinders you. It hinders you as an individual if you constantly dwell in the thoughts of what's to come or what may happen. I noticed that when I just live in the moment and I just put in the work, that's when things open up for me. You know what I mean? And then you look around, you reflect in hindsight, you think about you have the awareness to see, oh, these doors are opening up for me because I'm putting in the work. I'm no longer sitting and dwelling on what may or may not happen. I'm just living in the moment and putting in the work. And that's when your doors start to open. And that's what you have to sit on. You can't think about the future. You have no control over it. You can't sit and reflect on the past. The past is behind you. All you can do is sit in the moment and put in the work and do what makes you happy, so that way everybody around you is also happy and at peace as well. So
I don't mean to jump off track here.
No. Go for it.
But this kind of goes towards your whole, like, you know, language barrier between dimensions, right? So I'm gonna tell you a crazy story that happened to me, and this is how I know that realm exists, more or less, right? I wasn't like crazy religious, you know. I mean, I grew up Catholic, you know, but so the day my sister passed away, right? All my family were all at my mother's house. All my cousins were all there, and broad daylight. I'm talking 3 o'clock in the afternoon, bright blue skies, right? And we're all chilling, we're crying, mourning my sister's death. A family of 4 foxes come walking down the driveway where all my family are. So close that we're sitting there reaching with our hands, feeding them bologna by hands, right? Like they weren't scared, they weren't skittish of us, anything like that, right? So later on that day, me and my buddies were over on the side of the house, and we're all in like a big circle, kind of just smoking and just kind of talk about my sister and this and that. I look over to my left, and it looked like Pride Rock, like Lion King, right? There's this flat rock that's on the side of my mother's house. Fox comes walking right out the woods, stands right on this rock, all broad shoulders, and then just looks directly at me. I'm like, what the F? You know what I mean? And I ended up my dog ended up chasing it away, right? So about a month later, me and my mom get into a bad fight. You know, we're going through it, you know. And she tells me she wished I died instead of my sister, right? Worst thing you probably could say to your son. It was,
man, that's crazy. How does a parent even say that? I don't understand.
I was a you know, shitty kid. You know what I mean? I was a little snotty kid. Yeah. I mean, things happened. You know, she said something she didn't mean. I forgive her. Yeah. So I ran away. To one of my friend Matt's house, right? Stayed there for like 3 days, and I started walking back home like the middle of the night, like 12 o'clock. Like, it's probably right. I'd say it was dark. I'd say between 8 to 12 o'clock, somewhere in that window, right? And a storm's starting to come through. It's starting to rain, and I'm walking down this road, Brattle Road, and underneath the street light, there's a pothole, and it's just a puddle in there, and there's something glimmering, and I'm thinking, I'm curious. I just started thinking about my sister, and I look into this pothole, and I see something shining. I'm like, it's probably just a quarter. Curious. I pick it up. It's a Celtic cross with Jesus on it. My sister's Irish. I keep on walking, get down to about Robin Wood, which is like 3 streets away from my mother's house. There's a fox walking down the side street right there towards me, just diagonally staggering all the way down the street right towards me. And then my sister's buried at Fox Hill Cemetery.
Wow.
And like, you want to say like something exists?
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, that is true.
I got a fox tattooed on my back just for that reason. I never believed in anything until I saw something like that. And till this day, what made you
what was the what do you think she's trying to communicate to you?
That she's all right. I think that
she's all right.
I think that she's all right. You know what I think? I think she's all right. You know what I mean? That, like, you know, I think like I think that I was seeing signs when I needed the signs,
Yeah.
not when I was looking
Yeah.
for them, not when I was searching for them.
Right.
They showed on their own, and I think that was the biggest thing. That's what helped me get through, and I think that's what
Mm.
helped me and my family in general. Like we all witnessed those foxes, all of us. You know what I mean?
That's
Fox
deep.
are skittish, like you chasing after a cat. You know how they just scurry away. That's how foxes are. So to see something like that, and like there's and just the you know what I mean? Just like the
Yeah.
coincidences, all one after another. And I was like, and then a day before my sister's dog passed away, Fox showed up right on the doorstep the night before.
Wow.
Ate a whole weed chocolate bar and died.
Damn.
And you like, I'm like, those are the times like you like when you don't like you know what I mean, you're not looking for those signs. That's when you get them. And
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah.
believe there is that kind of connection between that. You know, like
There,
between
there.
those
Look,
realms. It is
I always
wild.
tell
And I
people
can't explain it, and I don't think I'm supposed
you
to
don't
explain
have
it. I don't
to.
think I'm supposed to understand it.
No.
You know?
No.
I
You don't
don't
No.
have
think
to.
so.
You don't have
And you
to.
know, it's
But I'll
like,
tell you
I don't
this
want
right
to
there, bro. That everything is spiritual before physical, man.
Mm.
mhm,
Everything is spiritual. Energy is
of course.
spiritual. Energy exists before physical exists. You know what I'm saying? The
Exactly.
energy is created before the atom is created to give you the
Mhm,
molding of what is there. So when you're able to accept that and understand that, then now you have that connection. It's like my favorite show, my favorite cartoon show is the Avatar, man. I don't care what
I
nobody
love it.
says.
I love
That
it's my
show
favorite.
right there, it
Mhm,
ultimately I put it to you like this. My dad didn't really like us watching TV. He didn't even like watching
mhm,
TV like that much because it was BS. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff was
Mm.
BS,
mhm,
but because of the type of minds we have and understanding that everything is spiritual before physical, when
mhm.
we would all sit down, and my dad is 40 some years old at the time, you know what I'm saying? We all in the living room sitting down watching the Avatar, watching it get down and listening to the messages and looking at those things
Yes. That's the
and
only movie I
tripping
can
out.
watch on repeat. Like for
You
real.
get what I mean? Like I've watched, I
Yeah.
don't know how many times I can sit on
Mhm.
Netflix and watch Avatar from the
I love
beginning
it.
all the way into the time where he goes and takes away the bending power of the
Uh,
Fire Lord. Like I can watch the whole
mhm,
thing numerous of times. It's because you there's so many different things you can get, but everything is spiritual before physical. And when you learn to reach that spiritual level, the avatar state as they call it, but you reach that level of ascension, then everything below it, you know what I mean, is
mhm,
it's all what you perceive it and see it to be. Everything that because you're at the top now. Now you're at the peak. Now you're at the level of now you see what God sees, or now you see what Yahweh sees. Now you understand that you've
of
become
course.
the space and the stars now.
Mm.
You are no longer stuck on the physical realm of the world. You are now the stars looking into the world versus you
Mhm.
standing from the world looking up to the stars. You
Yeah.
get what I mean? So,
Mhm.
and when you're able to see that connection, you'll be it creates you the ability to have a 360-degree view or a full circle view of life. And when you're able to do that, that's when you're fully connected. And that's we all get those moments in different phases and times and aspects of our life where we have to now be able to see everything and all the way around. So just imagine
Mhm.
that if you if you're looking at the world from the stars, the way they perceive the world to be, this spherical dome piece that what I'm saying, now you have a 360-degree view of everything that's going on
Mhm.
around you. You can't miss anything. You don't miss nothing because you can
Mhm.
see everything. You get what I mean? So then when you see all of the movement, now you lose the ability of fear and more of reverent. You become more revered rather than feared. You revere things now. And to revere things just means to really have respect for it. And when you have respect for it, you ask questions. And when you ask questions of something, you're gaining the answer. You get what I mean? And
Mhm.
like we posted before, we said it in last season, in season one too. When you start to ask yourself questions, you will find the answers. And a lot of times you don't know you're asking yourself a question because your subconscious mind is doing the
Mhm.
questioning. And when that one is at the forefront rather than the conscious mind, now you have the ability to tap into it. So when you can
Mhm.
go just being from being in conscious state to being conscious of subconscious, and working together, you're limitless. You have power and
I
ability.
love what you're saying
True.
there,
Yeah.
Aki. Because you saying that if you tap into the subconscious mind consciously, and that if we all were to do it, because I was watching a documentary on Amazon, and they say that if we all came together physically, all of us, let's say if all of us were all in the same physical space, and we were all to tap into that subconscious mind, we can communicate with the higher conscious, because they say that we are actually one universal intellectual conscious. They want us to believe that we maneuver individually. That's why the way we digest our information, the foods that we eat, they want to break those things down so that way we don't tap into that together.
Mhm.
You know what I
That's
mean? And they want us to
universal
operate.
energy.
Yeah, it's all one universal energy.
It's all
They want us
there.
to be divided in all
Yes.
fashions, in all forms. But if we were to actually think about the way the universe actually works and the energy that's provided through us, if we all came together, we would be able to tap into something that's even more powerful.
I mean, think about
Mhm.
this. Look at the way the word universe is spelled. If you broke it down, you have U-N-I verse. You get what I mean? So that's on one. You're on one verse, one line, one force. Everything is linear. It's going around in a circle because you're on the same team. So
Mm.
it's that's what it is. You
Facts.
and I. You and I. Those are the two things that you
That's
have. You get what
crazy
I
you
mean?
say that.
Woo, that boy, break down that word, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy you
You know,
say
I
that
break
because
words down, right?
I have no, because it's like, yo, I wrote a rap like, I don't even know, probably like 5-6 years ago, and it was about you and I and the yo,
Listen,
and like
and that-
I
and that's how
couldn't figure
things-
out how to form it, and then it just came back, and I'm
Rich,
like, bro,
that's how things come back. That's how things come back around.
yeah,
If you notice,
that's
because
crazy.
we're operating on the same plane and the same frequency
Mhm.
right now in this
Yeah.
moment, even though it's
Mhm.
digital, and even though we haven't seen each other physically yet,
Mhm.
because we operate on a similar frequency is the reason why
That's
we're able to provide what we're providing now and tapped in with Stacy, Snoopy, Riri, and everybody that's actually understanding the level, the
Yeah.
complexity of what's transpiring right now.
Look, I'll even give you it even more so. Like Yahweh Ben Yahweh teaches us that, the best thing to celebrate and the thing that we celebrate most is not these physical things that everybody does when it comes down to their
Mhm.
holidays or whatever the case may be,
Mm.
is when you have the ability to have an understanding, overstanding, and understanding,
Understanding?
you know what I'm saying? Then it allows you to be full circle because those are three. That's 3 degrees of understanding, and what you stand on is what you can confirm, verify, and be supported. That is truth. The truth always will allow you to be supported, verified, and confirmed. There's
Mm.
nothing in here or nothing we have done or nothing we have talked about that
Mm.
hasn't been talked about, done, because everything is done underneath the sun. And everything that's done underneath the sun has already been done before. You know what I mean? Like there's
Mhm.
nothing new under the sun because the sun is where it starts at. And like, I mean, I can go deep and deeper and
Oh
deeper. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And
Oh
Yahweh
yeah.
gives me so many because who He is and because I understand that. And when I get connected back, when I'm always connected back to the Yahweh in me or the Spirit in me, the God in me, my ability to teach because that's what I have. That's what my breath is, my life is. Breathing
Mm.
is your ability to teach. If you didn't have the ability to teach, you wouldn't be breathing. You get what I mean? So
Mm.
everybody on his realm, everybody that's tapped in now, because we all have different stories, that's our ability to teach. That's why we still have life. You get what I
Mm.
mean? That's why we're living,
Mm.
because we have that ability to teach someone else how to see something different, how to hear something different, how to perceive it in a manner that's going to help you, how to be able to maneuver in a way to look at things, because you always can't see what I see, but I can always see, saying something that you may not see. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Mhm.
there's different things that Rich has seen that we have not seen before. You know what I mean? There's different things you've seen, JR, that we have not seen or experienced before. But the simple fact, the way you can teach it allows me the ability to see it the way you see it.
Right,
because of
right,
how you
right.
teach it. You get what I mean, and what you've experienced. And you know, that right there is that's what keeps me and my mental and me being a spiritual person and being spiritually connected. It helps me because it's like if you lose that connection, you lose your ability to go into that avatar state, that higher self, then you miss out on the opportunity to see everything. And now you're just stuck somewhere where you only can see what's in front of you and not what's behind you on the sides of you without, excuse me, without never looking at those things. You can feel it. Like I have great peripheral vision. You get what I mean? Like when
Hmm.
when you understand what a peripheral vision is, you that allows you to see things. You can be looking straight forward, but you can see something
See
happening
everything around you.
right around you, right around you. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Birds, I think it's pigeons or something like that. There's only a few type of animals and insects in this world that have the ability to look sideways, see everything that's in front and back of them. You get
Hmm.
what I mean? And when that right there, that ability right there, it's a 360 view, you know that, and but you only can see that when you're at a certain height. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Especially for something that's down at the bottom, that's below you. You're able to see below you, above you, around you. You have all vision. You can't miss anything. You get what I mean? And that which means that you now have the ability to understand, seek, ask questions, gain answers because of that, you know, and that's the vision that you want. That's what we call 360 degrees of perfection. You know what I
Mm.
mean? That's why the number 10 is so powerful because now if you're that one standing next to 360 degrees of perfection, you now have the ability to become perfect. Not necessarily a perfect thing in all things, but you can become perfect because you have the ability to change what you can. You have the ability to see what some can't. You have the ability to hear what others can't hear, and so therefore you can adjust and make your realm and create what's around you, create it, and then be able to maneuver straight through it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We are all different stars in the same universe. We just have different purposes and shine in different areas because we need those areas. If you have a light and you have a light, I have a light, we all shining, but I may not be able to see what you see because of where you're lighting your light at. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
now because now I have the ability to see, once I come over there, now we both can see that. You know what I'm saying? And it makes it
Hmm.
brighter and now more visual. You get what I mean? Like the beacons of light is true, man. We are all beacons of light in our own different manner, and our experiences is what gives us the ability to shine light on things that other people can't see. And a lot of people can tell you about yourself that you don't see just based off of a reflection of what you see in them. And, you know, unfortunately, that's where jealousy comes in because of the negative aspect and how you perceive it. But at the same time, you can see how other people can see you for you and you can see them for them because we all shine in that different way.
Mm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It,
We don't
it's,
have control. We don't have, but we don't. The one thing about it, Aki, is that no matter how much good you do for people, the minute you make one
Mm.
mistake or one bad
Mm.
decision, they forget about all the good you've done.
Oh yeah.
They literally forget about
Oh
all the
yeah.
good you've done, and they
it
just
hurts.
they and to the point where they'll break you down for what you did wrong, right? They won't even bring up all the good, and the relationship will never be the same, or the friendship will
And,
never
and
be the same. You
and
know?
see, and that's because of their perception of being perfect. Only people who understand perfect in a manner and don't understand it as being thorough and complete, it does that. It makes you like that because you will focus so
Hmm.
much on what a person's done without realizing this person may have done that based off of their perception and understanding and their ability to have to learn something. This was a lesson they needed to learn. So why would
Right.
you sit there and condemn them for that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Forget about everything else that they did before that because they were good at it. And then the one thing that they didn't understand or have understanding on, they had made a certain decision and it didn't work out, but now they get to learn from it. And now
Right.
you only want to highlight what they messed up on and don't
Right.
realize, hey, I've done 10,000 good things, and the one bad thing that I do, you can't seem to forget it. And maybe it's because you've done a lot of bad things and want people to forgive you, but you don't want to forgive people, or you've done that and you would think you would never do that thing. And it's just like, no. Like I was telling my wife the other day, it's so funny. I watched this video. So many people have opinions about things, but nobody understands that your opinion is your opinion, but you don't understand why this person may have done that. I never judge people for what they do.
Yeah.
I just see it for what it is. Hey, maybe at that time you had to make that decision, and if that's the decision that you had to make, I'm sure you've learned from it. If you haven't learned from it, you will learn from it
Right.
eventually.
Right.
You
Because
know what I
I feel
mean?
like if we all three experience something similar in life, we all three are going to respond to it differently.
Mhm.
We're
Yes,
not going to
Course.
all respond to it the same way.
you
You know what
can.
I'm saying?
No.
Like that's what makes us uniquely different. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And
Exactly.
it's what you learn from it afterwards and how you respond moving forward is what's going to make the change for you. And what I do now, man, is like I don't forget who I truly am in that process of learning. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to let someone else dictate who I am. Even if they respond to me in a way that I don't appreciate, I'm not going to change who I am. I'm going to still wish them well. I'm going to still want to see them win. Even if they try to tear me down and drag my name to the mud, that's okay. That's what you choose to do. It's not going to change who I am and how I react to it. I'm going to still do what I do, and I'm going to still do right by my spirit and the way I operate.
Look,
I'm not going
I
to
just
respond to it the way they would.
right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I just had an incident like that, Aki. I had a family member who decided I don't do the social media drama and putting my family's business out on social media in that manner, but in to get a response. But this person literally put up some hateful things and said some nasty words and things like that. And this is a person that I've known, I've watched grow up as a child from a child up until now,
Mm,
and tagged all of the members that was on there. And what was crazy about it was is you tagged everybody, you said what you said, but forgot about being the real you forgot about being who you are, or maybe you showed me truly who you are, and I had the decision to say I'm gonna remain me because I did not respond to it. And whether he wanted me to respond or not, I'm not going to respond to it, not on social media, not on anything, because the same thing you stated inside of your post on there, you went against your own nature as a man and did the same thing. You're gonna try to tell another man how to be, or to what we should do, versus you didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? And
mm.
it made I had to show my wife because it just made me laugh, because it was just like, if I do respond to this, I'm feeding into the negativity and
Yeah.
just and
Which is
basically
not
giving them
which
what
is
they
not your
want.
character, which is not your
No,
character.
no, it's not.
And if you would have responded to that, right, you would have realized that's not even who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like they take your power by doing that. You know what I
I'll
mean?
put it to you like this. At the end of the day, whenever it is time for me to respond or us to have a conversation, he's going to feel foolish for even doing something like that, because
Right.
the thing that was said was, you know, they don't care because we don't care. And I looked at it, it was just like, well, I can point the mirror back at you, bro, because what you're saying, you're upset because we have no idea of what's going on in your life, and yet you make it seem as if you know everything that's going on in our lives. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't get what the response you wanted. I wasn't looking for a response from you. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
just crazy, that people do those things. You know what I mean? But I understand that. And as much as I wanted to respond and just to put how stupid he looked, I didn't respond to it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just leave it at that. When it's time for that conversation to happen, then I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back on that one and go, look what you did right here. Remember what you said right here? Yeah. Well, how come it is that you could say that right here, but yet you haven't you and tag me in it, but you haven't personally hit me up. Like I tell people all the time, bro, in 2028, the year 2028, I would have had my same phone number that I have. for 20 years, bro.
Mm.
My number has not changed. You
And
get
the
what I
phone
mean?
goes through. The phone goes
No
two
way,
ways,
bro.
Both
and you never.
ways,
Phone
bro.
goes
The
through
phone,
both ways, and
both ways.
you never ringing. And if you
Yo,
ring, you
what?
only calling when you got a problem.
So
He's still on a pager too, guys.
right. You get what I mean? So, and
Nobody
that's
ever
what it's
wants
like.
to. Nobody ever wants to call you when they're going through something good or whatever the case may be, or to even involve you
Mhm.
into the grace of the
Mhm.
next level in their life. Like that's how selfish some people are. And I know to an extent why people maneuver that way, but at the same time, when people are leveling up in their life and they know that an ONTL has the potential to get to that next level and the rich has the potential to get to that next level, make that phone call and be like, yo, I got an opportunity for you. I think you should come check this out. But instead, they want it just for themselves. And then when something doesn't work the way they thought it was going to work, that's when they want to call you and be like, yo, Ak, I'm going through this problem, man. What can you do for me? And it's like, bro,
Hey,
you should have called me when things was going right. Maybe I could have done something within that particular situation where you would have never hit that brick wall. You know what I'm saying? I
man,
could have
but
added something to it.
the thing is, the thing about me is, because I've had the same number for that how many years, bro. I've always been the person to give, especially family members, my number, and I open it for them to call me.
The
You know what
open
I'm saying?
invitation.
I
Yeah.
open it for them. Sometimes they never do. And then if I don't have your number, I can't call you. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And I'm not about to reach out and extend my, if I'm already telling you, hey, look, I don't be on social media here this much, but you know what I'm saying? I like connecting with you. Here's my number. I give it to you. If you don't store my number and utilize it, then you can't get mad at me for not involved in your life. You didn't want me in there. If you did, you would have been able to reach out and say something because I've always given my number out. People used to get mad at me like, why is your number on Facebook like that? Anybody can call you. You're right. Anybody can call me, but I don't have to accept everybody's phone call. You know
Mm.
what I mean? I DM people my numbers when you really want to talk to me, here's my number. And my number don't change because I don't want it to change because I know there's going to be times where somebody's going to have my number who I met with 20 something years ago and an opportunity may come up and they seen what I'm doing or they see me now or they see something going on and then there's the opportunity to call. My number hasn't changed. I'll be picking it up and we be going from right then and there. You get what I mean? Like
Mm.
that's the reason why I haven't changed it. You know, I've always thought about it. I've always considered it, but I've never done it because it's just like, you know what? I'm gonna just keep my number, and when you're ready to use it, you can use it. I'm gonna have it. You know what I mean? I might get another number, but I'm never losing the number that I have. I've had it for too long. You get what I mean?
Right.
And I know that we may not connect here in this time, but there might be years from down the line that yeah, this time to connect now. So let's go ahead and do it. And you know what I mean? And I'm always right there. And that's why I'm saying I've always been that listening ear. So that's the reason why I really always give my number out to those who I feel want to use it, or just those who really be like, you know what I'm saying, they be coming to me and I'm like, look, man, if you really wanna chop it up, here's my number. I'll talk to you. I don't want you. I know what it feels like to have a negative thought and to want to think at a negative capacity to the point where now, you know, you're damn near close to taking your life away because I
Mm.
understand I've had those and I don't wish that upon nobody and I don't want anybody to be like that. I'd rather you talk to me and let me give you some point of views on something or just something you don't consider.
Right.
Let me help you consider something. And if that doesn't help you, then hey, I've done my part. You know what I'm saying? And if I couldn't help you, that's just because you didn't want the help or I just couldn't simply help you. You get what I mean?
Mm.
But it's never like that,
Mm.
you know what I mean? And all the times you don't use social media as a thing as a place of thinking you know who I am, what I'm about, and what's going on in my life because I only give what I want to give on
Give.
there. You don't know
Right.
it without picking up
Right.
the
Mhm.
phone and talking to me. And I keep
Facts.
it like that for a reason. That is a fact. I don't put everything on there because you don't need to know. Social media is a highlight reel to me. Is a
Mm.
place where when I want to share something, I'm sharing what I want to share whether it's good or
Right.
bad. But most of the time, why would I want to share something bad? And why would I want to share something unmotivating? You know what I'm saying? A lot
Mm.
of times I'm gonna do it just to motivate you, to get you, to help you. And I'm not flaunting, bragging, boasting, or doing anything. My things is always consistent of of me showing you the outcome, but then giving you the backstory of how the
Right.
outcome came about.
Right. And I
Mhm.
think that's how we all connected essentially. You know what I mean? Because when we look in hindsight and everything that was drawn up to that point when we first all met each other, it was literally that. It was us showcasing what we wanted to showcase to motivate individuals, even though people are going to perceive it their way, like, oh, he's boasting or whatever the case may be. Look,
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
got a billboard, or look, he just landed a movie or whatever the case may be. Not knowing the true context of it is saying, hey, we both came from the same city, or we both came from
Mhm.
similar environments. Look what I've been able to accomplish, even with my situation and my plate on the table. If I can do it, you can do it too. And I think people
Always.
they miss that information right there, and they'll congratulate you or whatever, but deep down inside, there's a part of them that envy your progress and your process. Within those comments, that's just
Hey, man.
you know based on
And you
what's
gotta have the
transpired.
balance. That's the balance. That's the
Yeah,
balance in life. That balance
yeah.
in life is being able to have that push and pull effect. But of course, we want to get away from that. It's always going to be there. Opposition is always going to be
We're
there
gonna
because
be there.
if you
Necessary.
don't have
It's
opposite,
necessary.
yeah, if you do, it's necessary because if you don't have opposition, you have no position. You
Woo!
get what I mean? If you
Woo!
don't have opposition, what position are you in? Because
Mm.
you can't position yourself to be, what I'm saying, for your opponent. You know what I'm saying?
Needed to
You are
hear that,
supposed to
Aki.
have something that opposes you so you can position yourself to be back at its opposure. You get what I mean? If something
Cam said,
negative is gonna
Cam, real quick,
come,
Cam said that's why the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. Excuse me. Gotta keep pushing.
ooh, that was a
That's
gem. I
why the
never heard that one.
windshield, the
Yo,
windshield that
windshield.
you can see everything in front of you clear. Windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. Stop looking behind and look forward.
Mm,
That's where you
mm,
that's where you
mm.
that's where you focus on navigating. I love that,
Hey,
Cam. Thanks for tapping
hey
in.
man, shout
Appreciate
out to
that.
Cam for that one. Shout out to
He
Cam
just
for
came in and
that
just
one.
dropped a gem. Listen, I also
Just
want to, do a quick open invitation from anybody that's in the community and Soul Fam, anybody that's on Rich Sound sides or even Aki's side that would like to come on as a guest to provide some insightful information, some gems that they have, their personal journey, some of the things that they may
mhm,
have overcame and have to, the trials and tribulations they may have faced as well. So that way we can come on, we can share those stories, and we can bounce, different things back and forth to help you elevate. So
of course, man. Anybody who wants to come on, always, the invitation is always open. This ain't about us. This is about connecting and being open for everyone. Because at the end of the day, like I heard this thing that they said it's like it's so many people with opinions who have podcasts. Yeah, but there's not too many people out here who has motivational ways of helping someone release or
Mhm.
overcome something within themselves. And
correct.
uh, dropping gems is that special place and moment where it's not just about us. It's about we want to hear what other people got going, so we can help push and then those
Correct.
who are in the community to continue to support. Because at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, I can't. I can tell you right now, I can't always support anybody financially, but what I can give you is very great moral support.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I can give you very great moral support. I can help support you in
And
looking
that
and
is
seeing in the right
priceless,
direction.
Aki. That is priceless.
Hey, at the
That
end of
is
the day,
priceless.
you know what I'm saying? If I'm able to support financially, then cool. But if I can support you out of just love and moral respect for you and what you have, that satisfies me, and that satisfies the spirit that within me. And I understand that. I know that that satisfies Yahweh, because that's what Yahweh does. He wants to remind us who we are. At the end of the
Absolutely.
day, we all are to be reminded of who we are, where we come from. And though I call him Yahweh by his name, you may call him Allah, Buddha, Jesus, whatever you want to call him, whatever spiritual name or whatever name you want to give to the higher power within you. It's all about seeing you and reflecting yourself and becoming and coming back to yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because at the end of the day, we all can be self-made. My name in Hebrew it means God has made. I'm a self-made person. Nobody
mm.
else could make me. I can only make myself because of the Yahweh in me. And how I
Definitely.
do that is how I see fit. You know what I mean? What Yahweh shows me how to do. And this is the best thing. And it was always his thing was always to remind us who we are, where we come from, and how to get back there always. No matter how many times we fall, it doesn't matter. Because in the Bible it says that you spare the rod, you spoil the child. When you spare the rod of correction, when you're always being in a position of being corrected from what you thought you understood or what needs to be understand, you're going to always get back to it, and you get spoiled with that. That's how you get blessed. No matter if it look good or bad, you always get blessed. And to be blessed means to be joined. So when you're joined with him, you are automatically blessed. When you're joined to your higher self, when you're
Mm.
joined to who you are, you're going to be blessed. And it just may look ugly sometimes, but at the end of the day, you still blessed. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
This, like
right.
I said, with this incident, this is my reminder of who I am. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I'm
Mhm.
blessed with this. It hurt. Yes, it
Definitely,
hurt. You know
it's
what
important.
I
It's important
mean?
to have. It's important to have gratitude. It's important to have gratitude. Definitely, Rich.
Grateful, so grateful.
I want to ask you a quick question since there's a couple people tuned in and Cam just made it in.
Mhm.
In your present moment, I know there was times where you would come into the chat on TikTok and you'd be like, "Yo, JR, can't believe this happened." What are some of those things that have transpired in your personal life, and how are you seeking to overcome those obstacles?
Okay. So to give a little rundown, right? So I had a very rough year, probably one of the roughest years of my life. One of them. In the beginning, say at the beginning of the summer, I got into a bad car accident. I rear-ended by a dump truck.
Mm.
Hospitalized. My back got really messed up. You know what I mean? I was out of work for a while. You know the whole bit. Um, totaled my car. Got a new car. You know, then the fall comes rolling around. My father gets into an accident, ends up paralyzing himself from the neck down. Chance that he can walk again. He's starting to kind of get there now, a couple 100 feet, with the walker and all that. But a month later, boom, I get into another car accident. I get sideswiped from a lady. Again, not my fault. Um, got my car taken away from me for another 2 months. I also Uber as a second side of income. So I was deeply in a lot of debt already.
Mm.
And then I get my car back. And then 2 weeks ago, what's today? Maybe 3 weeks ago, boom, I get sandwiched in a tunnel in Boston by two cars. Get into another accident. A couple weeks before that, I was driving in my Uber, and I had four old ladies. One of them was like 86 in the back seat. I was driving them to the Opera House show to go see a Broadway or something like that. And we're talking about, I say Happy Chinese New Year, it's the year of the dragon, yada yada yada. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm an ox, I'm not sure. And she's like, oh, when's your birthday? I tell her March 15th, 1990. And she's like, have you had a really bad year this year? Has it been really bad? I'm like, lady, and she started saying all this other stuff, really just digging in on my heartstrings. And I was like, lady, I'm like, are you reading my emails? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. Like, I don't know,
reading my
you're a
text
hole in the wall.
messages?
How you know about my life?
Yeah. And she's like, listen, I hate to break it to you, but she is like, it's not going to get better. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, excuse me? She's like, it's not going to get better. She's like, this is not the year that it is going to get better for you. And I'm like, she's like, next year, she said, next year, it will get better. She said, this is the year that you're going to learn so many life lessons that are going to help you along the way, that are going to be painful, they're going to cut deep, and you were going to learn and grow from this, and you're going to become stronger overall as a person. And and then I'm like, I look over to the lady to the side of me, and I'm like,
is that some kind of astrology thing you think, Aki?
yes,
Some kind of
yes,
astrology that everybody's going through?
so
Everybody,
she's an
yourself, myself,
astrologist.
we're all gonna astrologists. Okay, so go
She's
ahead.
an
Break it down.
astrologist. So she's an
Okay.
astrologist. She's been doing it for 50 years. 50 years this lady's been doing
Wow.
astrology.
So universally, everyone's affected.
Yeah, she said it depends on the year that you were born. I don't know exactly too much. There's a lot of information going on at the same time.
Man.
But anyway, so she said this is the year that's going to develop me into a person. And one thing that I can say, everything that's happened, there's other stuff going on, you know, in life, but those are the major key things that have kind of just, when that happens, boom, you get hit by a car, you get your car taken out, you lose a whole bunch of money here, lose a whole bunch of money this time. Oh, got to go buy a car here, take out credit loans. You know what I mean? So things are stumbling, and I'm learning a lot. You know,
Yeah.
getting thrown into very uncomfortable situations that I am not familiar with. That has really kind of formed me and like formed my brain a little bit on how to. Not exactly how to deal with the situation, but how to prepare for them to ever
How to
happen
prepare
again.
for them better down the line if they ever happen
Exactly.
again.
Exactly.
Ah,
And I think if the future is always going to be unknown.
right,
but
right,
You
right,
can
right,
always
right, right.
always prepare for these things.
But you can
And I think
prepare.
this is a good time to like kind of like really sit down and kind of when I am sitting there stuck at home, just like the one is right now, you slow your brain down a little bit. You start kind of developing a game plan. Okay, well, while I'm here, what can I do that can be beneficial to my life while I'm sitting right here? I can
Right.
walk, I can do all that. I'm not in the same severity of Dewan right now, but I also have that. I was also in that restraint as to limitations as to
To certain things.
what I could what I had to work with.
Right.
And I think that alone has like kind of like taught me such a big lesson as far as like when these things happen, like don't beat yourself up, because what I've realized is that if I can't control something, if it's completely out of my control, I shouldn't worry about it because there's nothing I can do. And if there's something that happens in my life and there is something I can do, I still should not worry about it because I can do something about it. So regardless, my biggest takeaway was just don't worry about it. It will work out. It will eventually
Will
get there.
work out. Yeah.
2 days ago, I'm at work, I'm sitting there, you know, and I'm trying to battle this settlement. You know, they're fighting me. At first, they said $100,000 I was gonna get, then they said, $7,000. So now I'm like looking, thinking I'm getting 7,000. My lawyer's gonna take 40%.
Mm.
My lawyer calls, and she's like, "Hey, I just want to see how you're doing. How's everything? How's your back? Yada yada yada. I just want to talk to you about your settlement." And she's like, so they're not budging on the settlement. She said that you stopped going to treatment, and that's why they don't want to move. But they hooked me up with the insurance. They declined my treatment. I rebated that information back to her. Oh, I didn't know. And so I gave her all the information, told her the situation. They were trying to give me a spinal tap. They were trying to burn the nerve out of my spine because my spine was pinching a nerve and it was causing all these different trigger sensory spots all across my back, creating like hot poker, like hot, like spinal, like burning everywhere.
These feelings. Yeah.
Feeling is something that's good, regardless if it's bad or if it's good. You know, it's feeling, and you should have it regardless. That's something that you own. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to your own body. So they were trying to do this, kind of like a cortisone shot. And if it worked 3 times, then they were going to burn that nerve right out of my spine. So I wouldn't feel the pain. I'm like, my
But the
spine
pain's still gonna be there.
my
You
my
won't feel
spine
it, but
is pinching the nerve. Our bodies have been evolving for who knows how long.
right.
And that nerve is my nerve, and I want that nerve. I'm like, that is a nerve that tells me that my pain is whatever. So long story short, I didn't get it, and they declined all the rest of my treatments for physical therapy. So I started having to do them at home. And then I told this lady all of that, and then she calls me back about an hour later. Boom, hey, so I just talked to them. They gave me a new settlement, bumped it up to about like 20K. And, so now I'm looking decent right there. But the takeaway from this is that, regardless of like what you're going through and all of this happening, it only lasts for so long. It's only going to last until a certain point, and I
Right.
think that goes with anything. It was such a hard point for my dad to like not be able to walk, not be able to move, not be able to itch his nose, you know what I mean? And now to see him, and I had to be there beside him, and kind of what I mentioned earlier is you have to have people in your corner that believe in your success sometimes more than you do at your lowest points. And when I was there for my father, and I told him, listen, I had a friend who was paralyzed from the neck down. Took 6 months before he could even move his fingers. He got his fingers moving after like a couple days of surgery. And I'm like, this is a good sign. Stuck with him, kind of, doing whatever I can, you know what I mean? Just to try to help him. And now he's, walking about 100, 200 feet within the treadmill. And
Man, God bless him.
Man, miracle.
it's still gonna take a long time to recover from this for him, for me, for the family, for everybody. But one thing
Oh
that
my
I do
God, Space.
know is as long as we're alive and we're breathing, that is always a good thing. You know what I mean?
Right,
Regardless of
right.
how we live it, as long as we're around each other and like around people that we care about and whatever it is,
Yeah,
that's all that I really care about. Of course, it's not a way to live being trapped inside of your body, and if there's anything that we can do, we will do it. But
right.
I think that goes the same thing along the lines of like stressing and trying to deal with and
I
overcome
I
these problems.
I don't want to use the word trapped in the body because essentially we get
Mhm.
released when it's our time to be released.
Trapped in his physical. Yeah, he's just
Yeah,
trapped,
yeah, you know.
physically
But what I want
trapped.
to take from that, what I want to take from you is that like if you ever feel like you're consumed
Mhm.
in what you're in, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Um you have to you just have to focus on creating solutions to the things that are currently happening in your life because when you're so focused on the problems because I sometimes I even beat myself up where I'm just
Yeah.
like, man, things are not working out the way I expected them to, or this didn't happen the way it was, the way I thought it was going to happen.
Of course.
You constantly you sitting in that, you're
Mhm.
not making any effort to create progress for yourself because
Of
you're
You're
wasting
course.
using
time
it.
dwelling on that. You know, and
Of
on top of
course.
that, you being in your body, you have to take care of your body. You have to take care of your mind. You have to consume the right food. You got to digest the right information, take in the right media, be around the right people.
Mhm.
Take care of your temple, take care of
It,
your body,
of
take care of your
course.
spirit. It has to be taken. If you don't take care of you, that's when you're constantly going to break yourself down. Because I feel like, regardless of what's happening around us, we break ourselves down more than what's happening around us,
Mhm.
which then essentially breaks everything else more around us. You know what I'm saying? We do that here internally. We do it. And that's what we need to stop doing. You know what I mean? And I know it's easier said than done because it's almost been like injected in us kind of.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? What's been
Indoctrinated.
spoon fed to us? Yeah, what's been spoon fed to us? You know what I mean? The defense mechanisms, the trigger of certain emotions and that make us react a certain way, but when you slow down and you really sit down and you really think about the blessings that you do have, that's when everything changes for you. You
Mhm.
have to live in bliss. When you live in bliss and gratitude and you have humility and you just see everything for what it really is, you can then go ahead and take a time and a moment to be like, okay, I can manage these things differently. And like you said, in time, all of
Mhm.
that is going to overpass what has transpired negatively. You know
But
what
the
I
thing
mean?
is
Or we
too
didn't
is
expect.
like I think the biggest like part of my life is that I found is when I've gained so much growth throughout like throughout these times is that when I'm backed into a corner and the only way that you can move is
It's
forward.
it's forward.
And you
That's
get
it.
you
I
need to
love
be
that.
put in those uncomfortable situations. I feel like God trials the ones who can triumph. You know what I mean? He's putting you there, and
Of
that's
course.
how you become strong. Because like you need to feel pain in order to get stronger. You're gonna have
Mm,
there is that
love that.
balance. There is light with that dark. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that's where I like growth in like itself. Like you have to have that opposition.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
Exactly
I
what
mean?
Aki said.
You have to, because
You
like
have to.
Is that is that life's purpose?
light and
Life's
dark.
purpose is for you to life. Life's purpose and the purpose of life is for you to experience what it's like to have opposition and
Mm,
overcome it. That
and
is the
Exactly.
overcome it.
purpose of life. That is your
That is the
experience
purpose.
because that shows your like we always say like in the Bible they have this scripture, I think it's Isaiah 45:9 or something like that. It says I I create darkness, I form the light. I
Mm,
create evil and then I make good. So
mm.
I Yahweh do all of these things because if if I don't give you something to overcome, you will just be content in what you already have. If I don't put you in a position to be uncomfortable, you
Comfortable.
won't never know what comfortable is. You get what I mean?
Woo!
Exactly.
If I
Exactly.
don't give you something to fight for, I can't show you how much power I have. The reason that God is who
Mm.
he is because he created evil just to show I can
And,
overcome it. That's
right.
power, bro. That's the
Woo!
perfect power.
Man,
You know what I
Aki,
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Rich,
Facts.
y'all hitting point. Y'all hitting point.
It's created so you can see how strong you really are.
Yep.
Like Rich said, you don't if you don't go through no pain, you won't get
And
stronger because
Right,
we
in
right.
your
talked about that.
exercising, in your exercising physically, you have to endure pain, you have to endure that tiredness, that
Mm-hmm.
fatigueness. But when you push past it, you become stronger. Well, in your mind, if you can't beat off the thoughts that are trying to constantly weigh you down, your mind will never ascend.
Yes,
And
we'll
that's the
never.
Mm-hmm.
highest point on
Ooh.
your body is where your head is. And
Mm-hmm.
if your head is now being pushed down to be up underneath your ass, then unfortunately you ain't gonna never see anything but darkness.
Facts. Facts.
What a
That's
episode
true power,
today.
bro. That
And
is
I think that
true
goes
power
back
right
too. It's
there.
like how people like react to it. You know what I mean? Some people like that. That's where like people
Exactly.
take it and like they take it as like an opportunity to become stronger, and they can take it as an opportunity to say,
Opportunity
"Oh,
to stay in
you know what I
darkness.
mean?" Like they're
To
gonna
give in.
dig it on themselves. You know,
Right,
and
right, right,
that's where you. That's like, how do
eh,
you react to that? How do you react to that situation? Are you do you want to grow? Or are
right.
you going to be stuck in that same? You're still backed in that corner until you move forward. So you press forward until you get out of that. You'll
And
never
that's where
grow.
those high achievers come in. The ones
Yep.
that achieve at a high level, those are the ones that made the decision to overcome and make and
Exactly.
make
The
and
video
And
and
I
the
push
think
through.
videos in the beginning, bro.
and I
Yeah,
think
The
I think
videos in
because
the
like
beginning.
I think like streaming itself, like they like since I started streaming this year too, I think that's like it's been like so like life changing as far as for me,
mm,
because like it's one of those things where it's like it's finally like I've grown and been confident and more comfortable to like where people are like, oh, don't be a streamer. You know, everybody wants to be a streamer, everybody wants to do this and that. And I think that this is the first time that I feel confident and I feel comfortable streaming and like putting 100% into like with like a lot of like my followers right now. And I think that's like it's taking that leap forward, getting out of my comfort zone where I thought where others thought that I would fail,
I
and I
want
think
people to I
that
want people to understand something, and I'm taking this from you, Rich, is
mhm,
the fact that don't because the market is so saturated because of the way social media presents it to us, that the market is so
mhm,
saturated with the rappers, the singers,
yep,
the streamers, the dancers, the this expert, the that expert.
mhm,
Listen, if we always process things like that, there will never be competition
of
for
course,
something new to for something new to open. That's why there's McDonald's and there's Burger King. That's why there's Pizza Hut and there's Domino's. You understand what I'm saying? You can't, just because there's another streamer out there that's doing whatever. Listen, we're
yeah,
gonna do this 10 times better on this side. We're gonna figure out how to be more
mhm,
innovative, more creative, more selective. We're gonna figure out how to dive in more with the community, how to connect better. That's what makes every streamer different. That's what makes this whole process different. This
and
application right here and this podcast will be different and receive different,
mhm,
even if three other people said the same exact thing. But if it's said the way it's said over there, doesn't mean it's going to be received the same way over there because the delivery is different. That's what makes everybody uniquely different. And as long as we process and say, we're just going to stay focused, we're going to put in the work, we're going to connect with who we connect to, we're going to build with who we build with, and
mhm,
eventually you will break through no matter what. Forget all the noise. And
yep,
that's why you're doing
Of
incredible in your
course.
space. Aki's doing incredible his space. Soul Fam is doing incredible in our space on TikTok, and we just keep elevating and keep eluding
the,
all the
Ray,
noise that transpires.
Ray in my chat just said there's millions of people out there. There is enough for all of us to eat.
I
Listen,
mean,
My
come
man's
on
eating
now.
people out there.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey, look, at the end of the day,
Duh.
we can all fit, like, you can put together five of the most intelligent people in the room. You know what I mean? But at the same
Mhm,
time, none of them is going to speak in the same tone. They're just going to have the
exactly.
same comprehension, but none of them is going to speak in the same tone. And the reason why
Well,
is because what this person had to endure in order to get to that level of understanding, this person didn't have to endure. They experienced something else. And so because they experienced something else, now they have a different talking point than what you
Right.
have. But we all both are talking about the same one subject. I always seen life like that. Always seen
Yep.
life like that. And when that is why I am who I am, and I love being who I am, is because if I did not see life like that, bro, I think I wouldn't be who I am, and a lot more people wouldn't like me than the people who don't like me just for me being me.
Facts.
And I can say, truly, sincerely say that is because I'm like that, it allows people to be themselves. Like I have friends that I've been knowing for 10 plus years, man, and we all grew up different, but we all hung around. And the one thing they've always expressed was they like hanging around me and my brothers, my siblings, and they like hanging around my family was because no matter what, we didn't never judge them for the actions or the things that they did because we always seen and knew this is you, but you're going through something. This is not fully
Mhm.
you. We know who you want to be because if you're hanging around us, then you're able to feel and you're able to feel your natural self, and we get to see you naturally. You feel comfortable, then that means that your decisions that you're making when we're not around is just solely based off of your fear of what you have been or your traumas that you have been through that is allowing you and stagnating you. And we get that. You get what I mean? And that's
Mhm.
why it's like you have to accept people for who they are, no matter what. You don't have to accept them and keep them, but you just have to accept them for what they are. If they're a thief, they're a thief. And the reason why this person is a thief because they feel that they just need to take things from people throughout all their life. And if that's who they are, hey, cool. I don't mind you doing that, but I don't want you taken from me. So therefore, I don't give you access around me. You know what I'm saying? If you're
Mm.
going to be the liar, that's fine. Be the liar and things like that. But you don't have to lie to me because I won't allow you to lie to me. I won't even give you the time of day for you to even open your mouth to lie to me. So
Mhm.
those are the things that you really take in gratitude for. This you have to take in gratitude for. Like be grateful for a person showing you who they are, showing you what they are. And if you're very curious and you can see past and the potential, you can see the potential of them and see past those things, then you can gracefully help them see it themselves because some people
Correct.
just can't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror, man. You know what I mean? Like unfortunately right now I look like what I've been through, but I don't look like what I've been through. You know what I mean? Like because I look in the mirror too and be looking like, damn, bro, I'm going through it right now. But like
Listen,
it's
listen.
people who look at it worse, who look worse than me and look like they didn't
Right.
been through way worse than me, and I still look
Listen.
like I still have something. I'm being loved at home.
Right.
Because there's some people
Right.
who don't look like that. You know what I mean? And
Right.
then those are the ones who be showing you the most love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The ones that are damaged, showing you the
Yeah.
most love. Crazy.
And
Crazy.
this is what
Rich,
life is. This is why I
how do
love
you
this.
how do you feel about your first experience on the podcast? Like what's some of the things that you can take from it and what's some of the things that you can provide to the people that tuned in?
Honestly, like when I was coming in here, I had no idea what dropping gems was. I had to hit up JR. I was like, yo, like, what's the topic? You know what I mean? Because like last
Right.
time it was like, hey, we listen to some music, we tell you about the music, and I'm like, here,
Right.
it's like I'm just listening to life, telling you about life, So I like it,
Yeah.
man. Like it's like it's nice because I like, especially like it gives me a better outlook and a better aspect to kind of like not only talk to people, like talk and like kind of show people who I am, but also kind of get
Yeah.
to hear a little bit more from you guys because
Definitely.
as us being in a podcast together, it's nice to finally kind of like really get down to the nitty gritty with you two,
Absolutely.
Oh
especially with
yeah, definitely.
Soul Fam down there and whoever else is dropping in, you know what I mean. Appreciate y'all with the comments today too,
Man.
but
Oh, of
yeah,
course, always.
it's been very enlightening, to say the least,
Yeah.
and I'm just glad that I kind of got to see it
You're
firsthand.
always you're always welcome, Rich. You know what I mean? We're gonna be
Of
working
course,
on
of
getting
course.
other people other people, on as a special guest, so that way
Mhm.
they can share their stories, and we can share some insightful information on how
Facts.
we can help them elevate and overcome what they're going through. But it's always a pleasure being able to tap in with you kings and being able to
Absolutely.
lock in and
Likewise.
conversate at this level, because it's what's lacking on in life in general, period, because we're
Mhm.
so consumed by our personal foundations, and everybody else outside that are consumed by their personal foundations, family and friends included, that people don't even call you no more to really check up on you. They do the social media check, and they see you, they see the post, they see the highlight, and they
Mhm.
think you're doing well, when really you call me. I'll tell you what I'm really going through if you really want to have that
Mhm.
conversation. Not that I'm trying to bear you and put you in a space
Right.
where it's like, this is what I'm going through, can you help me? No, this is what I'm going through, but can we overcome this somehow? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? What can you tell me? What can you give me so I can think differently in my situation, so I can figure out solutions to take it to the next level? And that's what these conversations are about. Once this camera's off, I'm already reflecting on everything that we spoke about, on how I can do better tomorrow.
Of course, man.
You
Of
know what I'm
course.
saying?
Hey,
Like,
with dropping
Mhm.
gems. This is why I said this is why you can see me sit up here and have a damn broken leg, but still be able to, like, my mouth not broken, my mind not broken. You know what I
mm,
mean? So why can't I do the podcast? That's how I feel
mm,
about it. And like I said, I've always liked it. I've always wanted to see myself doing this and being on here. It's like I could talk to the camera and talk to myself, express myself, go on live and do all of those things like that. Those are cool things, but I always feel comfortable when I'm around individuals who are like-minded, or when I can speak to someone who has a like
Mhm.
mind and can see not only from their perspective, but from my perspective as well, and others' perspective, because it allows for growth in all areas. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? It allows for perseverance, uh, just to be able to understand that, man, somebody did it before, so we can do it too. I can
Mm,
push through if somebody else is pushing through. And like you said, it's always a great feeling to be able to have these conversations, because now we're all three going through three different things in life, some similar to some extent, but
Mhm.
but in our own way. But now to share and talk about it, it just helps brings us closer as individuals to becoming more, whole, as you would say, and makes it a lot more comfortable, because now you're coming back to your original roots. Like I said, we're all one big first. We're all one big old thing of energy. We're just in separate places and different things. We shine light different ways,
Mhm.
because this is who we are. We are the stars at night that you see in the sky. That's who we are. Because if you
mm,
notice, the stars connect. And when the stars
mm-hmm.
connect, hey, that's how it is. We're all connected. Everything is connected. Energy is always flowing. We are a body of water that conducts energy, that has energy. And that's on the physical level, but the energy that's inside of the water, that is where we really connect. And that's how we're able to flow like water, when we allow that energy to sit there and circulate. We flow like water and energy, man. And that's the I'm glad you were able to enjoy what dropping gems is, man, because this is one of my favorite things. Like, I love center stage and listening to
Mhm.
music, but like, when it comes to dropping gems, bro, this is where I do my best to try to shine the best, because I feel like, me personally, like, you see me break down words, you see me give different viewpoints. A lot of times, bro, it
Definitely.
don't even be me, bro. It's not you. Yeah, you see me, but it's not me. I'm getting fed. Like,
Ed,
I'm in the
to
Matrix. I
speak
got my
through you.
thing stuck
Yeah.
right here, and I'm the vessel, and it's being spoken through, bro. It's not
Right.
me, but you can hear the God in me that's
Mhm.
coming out to talk to the gods and everybody else that's listening. You know what I'm
Mhm.
Love
saying?
that,
Talk to
man.
the
Love that.
governments. Like, that's what God is. The government. You're governing matter. That's what God is. And if you don't understand that, you will never know how to control your thoughts or control yourself. You won't never be able to be governed. You won't never be be able to be guided. You won't ever have that ability to be a guide. You got to learn those things, and that's why I
Definitely.
love this platform, because I can tell, I can give you from the things that I study, the things that I've experienced, the things that the people I talk to, everything. I can give you my experience, and it really helps you see a point of view. And then I learn different things about other individuals, and it helps me see them in the light that I need to see them in, that I already know that's there. But it just gives
Right.
me a more appreciation for it. Like, I appreciate you, gentlemen, on a level that you don't even understand. You know what I mean? Like, you, like the love that I have just for the fact that you wanted to be here. You would never truly understand that, because I pray for people who I really truly fuck with. Like, I say a prayer in the morning that where I pray that my family and friends and loved ones are protected. And I say loved ones because those are the ones that I love. It ain't just and that's not just talking about my family. My family is talking about those who I truly, genuinely care for, and have a deep affection for. You know what I mean? Like, and the more we can be the more I'm affected by who you are, the more of an effect, a result that can come about through our experience together. That's what this is
Powerful,
about.
Aki. Powerful,
Bless.
Aki. Powerful. Appreciate you, Rich. Appreciate you, Ak. With
Yes,
these
sir.
last words,
Oh,
Cam says, your trauma does not define who you are. Your response does. Stacy says, so very nice to meet you, beautiful souls. Thank you. This helped me. I'm going to have you in my prayers. Cam says, the broken crayon still color. Just gotta keep doing what you're made to do. Love the positivity.
hey man, tell
Amen.
Cam if he want to get on the show, man,
Oh
just
no,
go
she
ahead and
listen.
send it.
If we get
Oh,
Cam on the
she.
show, we get
Uh-huh.
Riri. I've had conversation with
Uh-huh.
Riri. Riri would definitely drop some gems. They're already open to it. I want to thank Snoopy and the whole Soul
Of
fam
course, Snoopy.
for being here tonight. You guys have absolutely no idea what you guys do for not only this podcast, for these individuals, the support, the consistency, the love, the generosity, genuine souls. Cam, I know we've had our run-ins and stuff like that with Moms and Shelly, but just know that it's always love. There's always gonna be support. I'm always gonna see you guys in the same light. I'm always gonna want to wish you guys well. And I can't wait for everybody to thrive, not only in 2024, but in life in general for you and your families. With that being said, this is Unified Media Dropping Gems Season 3, Episode 1, Overcoming Obstacles. I'm going to let go with a video that's called When Things Get Hard. This is a powerful motivational video, and we're going to let it go on this note right here. Check this out, guys.
Yeah. Peace out, y'all.
Appreciate you, King.
Appreciate you.
Sometimes, the only thing more difficult than running a business is
Pay
finding
for
the
your
right
YouTube.
words to market.
I know.
I can throw you some curves.
I'm going to get those ads cut out.
And
I'm going to
it's
get
not
those
just the
ads cut
things
out.
that you see coming, but sometimes it's the things that you didn't see coming that hit you out of nowhere, that set you back in such a way that it seems like you can't get over. And you've reached your limit and your bandwidth is full. You already said, I can't take another thing. And then out of nowhere, here comes something you didn't see coming, and you're in it.
And in your homes, somewhere in your heart, these words are echoing. Am I going to make it?
When you get into a tight spot and everything goes against you until it seems that you cannot hold on for a minute longer, never give up then, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn. There are times when your energy feels so depleted that you want to give up, that it looks just totally impossible. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, don't give up then. That's when you've got to fall forward, when life is kicking dirt in your face. Don't give up then. That's when most people turn back.
As long as you're alive, there is hope.
You're still alive. You're still here.
It's never too late, and it's never too dark, and we can always turn things around.
There's going to be bad days, there's going to be dark days, but you got to embrace it, because that pain is what makes you stronger.
Pain is the high cost of growth. If you want to grow up, you want to be mature, there is no way to do it without pain. You can't grow up on easy street. And the very thing that discourages you is the very thing that develops you.
No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. The only person that's going to make a drastic change in your life, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the only person that is going to dig you out of your hole is who? You. You have to do it for you.
You've got to become courageous to stand up within yourself, to face it and step forward.
We all get a taste of that victim mentality, the why me? You can become the victim of the situation or the victor of the situation. You need to be the master of your emotions, not let them affect you. You're the dictator. You're the captain of your boat, whether you let things affect you in a negative way or a positive way. I don't lose. I only win or learn. In life, there's only winning or learning. All your problems become gifts once you learn from them.
And some of you have allowed adversity to make you stop. And I'm telling you right now, don't give up. I'm telling you right now, don't give in. Get through it. Execute, execute, execute. In the midst of adversity, execute. You're going to work through this. You're going to get up. You're going to get dressed. You're going to get out. And you're going to do what you've been called to do. You're going to be what you called to be. And you're going to prove that everybody that tried to break you, everybody that tried to kill your dream, you're going to prove all of them wrong. And if you can work through your pain, I'm guaranteeing you, on the other side is a reward. Pain is not permanent. Pain is temporary.